Discover captivating conversations with these 10 emotionally engaging questions. We're going live.
No. We'll do it live.
This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
Good morning, guys. It's hump day. After this episode, hopefully every day can be hump day for you. So many guys go out on a date and have no idea what to say. The good news is that you don't really have to say that much, brother. You don't have to say that much. Women love to talk, so just let them. Just let them, man. You only need a few go-to questions that can get the ball rolling, right? And then the women are going to do the heavy lifting for you. That's the goal, okay? So I'm going to be giving you 10 of them today, as well as give you some conversational pointers throughout. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of zhuzh, as Nurse Chick says, a little bit of zhuzh in there in between some of these, okay? Otherwise, I'd just be banging out like, okay, here's 10 questions. Peace out, guys. That's a 5-minute episode. All right, before we get into that, be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. And please do sound off in the live chat today. That helps these go by much smoother, right? If you guys are on Facebook, X, YouTube, it doesn't matter. If you have a question, sound off in the comments. I can bring it up on screen. If you guys have a really good, like, emotionally engaging question that you like to ask on a date, throw it in the chat. I'll share that with people too, so we can get some extras. We can crowdsource this son of a gun. We're not at the 8-minute mark. And then, guys, don't be stingy with those super chats, because that helps support the show. And I think on Facebook you could do something like sending stars. I don't know what that's about. I'm mostly familiar with super chats. So you could do that by heading on over to the YouTube channel and supporting the show that way. All right, guys. Have you guys ever heard of the Pareto principle? The Pareto principle. It was formulated by Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto in the early 20th century. And Pareto observed that approximately 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population. So this is where we get the 80-20 rule. Now, this observation led to the development of the principle that in many situations, approximately 8% of the effects come from 20% of the causes, right? So for instance, in business, you can estimate that 80% of your profits come from 20% of your customers. Okay. Now, is that 100% accurate? No, but it's a good rule of thumb, right? Well, we can apply an 80-20 rule in conversations with women, right? On a date, for instance, our goal is to let her do 80% of the talking, and you only want to do about 20%. Okay. This provides us with a few main benefits. Women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. Right. We talked about that in Monday's episode. In fact, I made a clip about it yesterday. That's doing pretty well on TikTok. It usually gets women all riled up when I mention that. I learned that from Coach Corey Wayne, that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. But if you Google it, one of the first links that comes up is a study that was done that shows that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. Right. So knowing that information, we could use that to our advantage. If we don't give so much away in conversation, they don't know how we feel. They don't really know that much about us. We remain a mystery, and women like to solve mysteries. They're freaking detectives. Another good benefit of this is it's the quickest way to lose a woman's interest is to tell her everything about yourself, right? She wants to unravel that mystery that is you. So don't let her down. Okay. She's trying to be a detective here. Okay. We want to help her out. Men also tend to talk themselves out of contention with women. Men talk themselves out of contention. Okay. Iron rule of Tomasi number 8 says, we're not at the 8-minute mark, so I'm going to have to fix one of these words here, right? Iron rule of Tomasi number 8 says, always let a woman figure out why she won't bang you. Never do it for her. Okay. A lot of, oftentimes women are, a woman is there ready for you to take her home and have your way with her, right? And then you open your mouth and you insert your big fat foot, right? You say something stupid, you say something that all of a sudden she gets the ick, as women like to say. There's something that turns her off and she changes her mind. Okay. But if you just shut the heck up, you won't have that problem. Okay. So practicing the 80-20 rule will prevent that sort of situation. Okay. So let's get to our first question that we're going to ask women, right? So what we're doing here with all of these is we're trying to engage her emotions. Okay. And we're trying to keep things positive and upbeat. So the cool thing is, now I'm going to give you 10 of these today. The cool thing is that when you learn the skills that I talk about today, not just the questions, when you learn the skills, the actual conversational and social skills, you're probably not going to need all 10 of these. You're probably only going to need one or two. And then the rest of the time, you're going to be an active listener. You're going to listen to what she says. You're going to ask clarifying questions. You're going to make assumptions. You're going to comment on things. You're going to tease her a little bit about certain things. And you're only going to need like one or two of these just to get the ball rolling. Okay. But then conversation's going to flow naturally. Okay. Unless she's a terrible conversationalist. And then, well, end the date right there, man. If you got to pull a goddamn conversation out of a woman, she just ain't it for you, bro. She just ain't it for you. Okay. So here's the first question. What's one thing that always brings a smile to your face, no matter how tough your day has been? What do you think about that one, guys? What's one thing that always brings a smile to your face, no matter how tough your day has been? What do you think about that one? So this question invites her to share something positive and uplifting, helping to set a cheerful tone for the conversation. So this is a good starter, right? We're going to set the tone. We are taking the lead and we're setting the tone. Okay. When out with women, we want to avoid anything negative. Okay. We want to avoid anything negative. We want to stay away from politics. And it's really hard in an election year, isn't it, guys? And some of you guys can't help yourselves. You got to turn everything into politics, man. I've noticed this lately on my Facebook page, but I'll post any kind of meme, and there's always someone in there talking about the Democrats, or someone's talking about the Republicans. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, just have fun with these memes. Not everything has to be politics. Okay. Not everything has to be politics. So stay away from politics on a date. Okay. Stay away from current events, especially if they're negative current events. Stay away from talks about religion. Stay away from talks about money. Definitely stay away from talks about money, right? Because sometimes women are trying to see how much money you make. And that's in steering the conversation away from money is a good way to weed out gold diggers. Okay. Now, if she brings up a negative subject like politics, just brush it off and change the subject. Okay. Say something like, yeah, it's crazy right now. And then change the subject to maybe your next question. Okay. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's crazy right now. Anyway, on a more positive note, if you could travel anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go and why? That's our next question. If you could travel anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go and why? Now, that one's good because asking about travel dreams can reveal her sense of adventure and aspirations, providing insights into her interests and values. These types of things tend to paint a picture in her head too. And mentally, she'll start experiencing it. Okay. We want to get her to imagine these cool scenarios, right? The actual goal is to get her to imagine these cool scenarios with you in them. Right. But getting her to mentally imagine this stuff, right? This is why, hold on a second. How did I write this down? Oh, this question will allow you to get in and ask clarifying questions. Okay. And you could do what we call an NLP chunk down. You could start chunking down with her. And that allows you to get to know little quirks about her and why she likes certain things. Okay. What I mean by chunking down is basically asking clarifying questions. Okay. If she says she wants to go to Tahiti and walk around on the sandy beaches, you can be like, "Oh, sandy beaches, you like the beach?" Right? Now we're narrowing it down to the beach. What's your favorite thing about the beach? Right? What have you ever been to the beach? You can ask any girl out here on the western slope of Colorado, "Hey, have you ever been to a beach?" And something like 90% of the chicks out here, especially if they grew up out here, have never been to a beach ever. Right? It's kind of funny. They're so sheltered out here. But the more a woman reveals about herself to you, the closer she'll feel to you. Honestly, right? So you want to get in there, get to know her, get to know the details. Okay. A lot of guys are like, I don't care about the details. I just want to bang her. Well, this is how you get to bang her, bro. you gotta get to know the details a little bit. This is why women tell men to be more vulnerable, right? This is based on their own solipsism, right? The truth is, she doesn't give a crap about your story or your passions, not on a first date anyway. That was something that I had to learn because I like to talk a lot. I will run my mouth. I will run my mouth. Oh, I'm an open book. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I will just open up. And I had to learn to have the self-talk of she doesn't give a shit, bro. She doesn't give a shit, bro. So if I felt the need to tell her like my whole life story or my whole backstory, I would catch myself and go, she didn't give a shit, bro. And then I would just keep my answer short, right? Which would allow me to practice the 80-20 rule, which actually works to my benefit, right? Which we talked about. She doesn't give a shit about your story or passions, not on a first date anyway. Don't get butthurt by it. Don't get butthurt by it. All right. Have fun with it. Don't get butthurt by it. Have fun with it. Actively try not to give too much information away too soon. Make it a game. Okay. All right. We have a super chat already. Brother Nathan with a $2 super chat. This guy, he knows all these tricks. He knows all these tricks.
I was just going to say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
He definitely fucks. Yes. Thank you, sir, for supporting the show. If you guys get value out of these shows, definitely consider sending a super chat. It definitely helps support the show. Okay. I'm giving all this information for freezies, guys, for freezies. Guys, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Get on my email list.comeonmanpod.com. I'll send you some free stickers. If you don't want the stickers, just put don't want stickers in the address field. That's cool. But you get 20 dating app openers that are guaranteed to capture a woman's attention in the first 7 words. I've mentioned it before in previous streams, but that's important because women use dating apps differently than men do. Women have an abundance of matches on dating apps. Guys, matches are very few and far between. So guys are literally trying to match with every hot chick on the app. Girls are already matched with you. Now they're just trying to weed out their options. And one of the ways they do that is they look at everybody's opening messages in the preview pane in the chat section of the app. And if you don't capture her attention, she's not going to engage with you. That's why a lot of guys open and they don't get any replies because they have crappy openers. And I usually tell guys, dating apps don't suck. You just suck at using the dating apps. Okay. There's a method to the madness. The dating app openers will help. They're all tried and true. All the guys in my beer club have been using them and they do get responses. Okay. And that's the goal with the openers. You want a girl to respond, right? All right. And then you also, when you sign up for the email list, you get a free chapter of my book. Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18. It's available on Amazon and Audible. If you're an audiobook listener, right? Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18. It's a real book. It's not a grifter book. And just know that if you go to Amazon, you can no longer get the special edition. The special edition had like the cool cover on it with like the James Bond looking cover. And, there was, exploding explosions and chicks with big old boobs and stuff on there. Can't get it anymore on Amazon. There's only 3 copies left. And you can get those. I'm dropping a link in the chat here. There's also a link in the description. You can get those from Gumroad, the autographed editions. There's only 3 left. And then after that, they're gone. I'm not ordering any more of those. They're literally special editions, limited capacity. So once these 3 are gone, they're gone. Okay. And then let's play a commercial for my dating course. I haven't played that in a while. But I have a dating course, if you did not know. It's called No Cold Approach in the Cow Pasture. And it's funny because city guys hear that and they're like, I don't live out in the country. Like, how's that going to help me? It actually helps you more if you live in the city because you have way more options than we do out in the country. But the reason why this benefits guys out in the country is because there's literally no cold approach out here. There's no places to go to organically meet women in person. Okay. You go to the bars, and the kind of chicks that hang out in bars in small towns are not the kind of girls you want to go out on dates with. Some of them are missing some teeth. So if you want to find the hot, beautiful women out in a dispersed area like this, you have to get really good at online dating. Okay. But the thing is, 70% of all relationships start online nowadays. So it sort of behooves you to get good at it. So in my course, I teach you how to optimize your dating app profiles to get more matches. And then we talk about bantering so that you can actually get more dates. You can close for more dates. And that's the goal of the course, is to close for more dates. But the real secret sauce of this course is that I teach you how to find women using Facebook and Instagram. Okay. It's kind of an untapped resource that a lot of guys don't realize is available because not every hot chick in your area is on a dating app, but they're all on social media. So how do we find them? I'll show you that in the course. So let me play a commercial for that. And then we'll get back to these first date questions. All right. Let's see here. Here it is. I think this is it.
Ready to upgrade your dating game? Introducing Paul's ultimate online dating course for men. Master the art of online dating and discover Paul's genius method to meet amazing women off the apps. The real secret sauce? Discover how to leverage Facebook and Instagram to meet amazing women in your local area. Not all hot women are on dating apps, but every woman on the planet is on social media. Learn how to find and connect with them with this revolutionary course. Say goodbye to swipe fatigue and hello to meaningful connections. Ready to transform your dating life? Click the link in the description now and start your journey to success today.
Yeah, guys. All right. We're almost done with the plugs, guys. Almost done. Okay, guys. So a must-read book for all you guys out there. Okay, this is a must-read book, and I would even venture to say it's a multi-read book. Okay, it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It came out in 1936. Okay, it will help you in all areas of your life. Okay, it can even help you with women, with the whammon. One of the biggest concepts in that book is learning to be an active listener. Okay, most people are focused on what they're going to say next. They're not actually listening and participating in the conversation. They said something, they're not listening to the other person, and they're just trying to think of a rebuttal or whatever, right? That's how people argue all the time. Oh, Surfbug, I already dropped the link. It's I'll drop it again here for you. Hold on. Here we go. It's also pinned in the it's also pinned at the top there, but here's that link again for the last 3 copies. All right, where was I at? Okay, most guys aren't actively listening. They're just thinking about what they're going to say next, right? So what you want to do is when you're on a date with a woman is listen to what she's saying. Okay? Actually listen to her. Don't just hear her. Listen. You want to listen for other things to ask her about. Okay? You want to make assumptions about what she's saying. Okay? You also want to like comment on certain things. And sometimes you want to tease her about certain things. That's fun. Listening for things that you can sort of playfully tease her about. That's fun to do. You don't want to just ask questions. Okay. You don't want to go on a date and just have a whole bunch of questions and just rapid fire questions at her. Okay. But you do want to keep her talking. You do want to keep her talking. Okay. This isn't a job interview or an interrogation. Okay. It's supposed to be fun. You're trying to get to know her better and build a connection. Okay. That's the goal here. So the next question I have on my list is, tell me about a moment in your life when you felt incredibly proud of yourself. Tell me about a moment in your life when you felt incredibly proud of yourself. This question encourages her to reflect on personal achievements, fostering a sense of confidence and self-worth as she shares her successes. Anytime you ask someone about something they're proud of, watch them beam about it, right? Watch them beam about it. Everybody's favorite subject is themselves, and everybody likes to talk about their passions and accomplishments. Okay. Men tend to do this too much on dates when trying to qualify themselves to women, which is unattractive behavior. Okay. If you are qualifying to her, you are putting yourself at a one down position. Okay. If you're trying to qualify yourself to her, that means she's above you. Okay. You're putting her on a pedestal. And if you're a one down position from her, this is using hypergamy against yourself. Okay. Women have this thing called hypergamy, and we can use it to our advantage. Okay. She wants to be with a man that she looks up to. So you want her to qualify herself to you. You want to be up here. Okay. She's down here explaining why she could be the best girlfriend in the world. Okay. That's where you want to be. Now, if you get her to talk about something that she's proud of, you could, I'm not saying you have to or you should. If you don't feel comfortable doing this sort of thing, maybe don't. But do this on a practice date. Like if you're out on a catfish date and you're like, fuck it, it's practice date. Do it on a practice date, right? Get good at it that way, because then you don't give a shit, right? You have no expectation of outcome with that. But let's say she says something she's really proud about. You could use this as an opportunity to playfully tease her about it, like it's not that impressive, right? Almost like a neg hit, okay? Which is likely to get her to explain herself to you more. Boom. Now you're using hypergamy to your advantage, okay? Like if she's so proud of just getting promoted to the next position up, you're like, oh, is that it? Interesting. Well, I thought it was amazing. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's where you want to be, right? The next question, if you get on the topic of music, ask her, what's a song that instantly transports you back to a special memory or time in your life? If you get on the topic of, God, I can't speak this morning. If you get on the topic of music, ask her, what's a song that instantly transports you back to a special memory in your life? I need more caffeine, guys. So music often evokes strong emotions and memories. Asking about a song that holds significance for her can lead to heartfelt storytelling and shared experiences. A good way to segue to a question like this without it being forced is if you're at a place with music playing in the background somewhere, like a bar with a jukebox. I don't recommend going to really noisy places for first dates where you can't talk. So if you take her to a venue that in the music's so loud you can't talk, I would find another venue. But sometimes, you have music playing in the background, but it's at a level that it's not too distracting, right? So if you're at a place like that and you're listening to this music, you could ask her, like, oh, you could say something about the song, like, oh, I love this song or whatever, right? She might like it too, or maybe she hates it, whatever. And be like, oh, what kind of music do you typically listen to? Right. And she might explain it. And then you can go into this question, right? Well, what's a song that instantly transports you back to a special memory or a time in your life? Right. That's like a natural way to get to that question without it being forced. Right. But getting her to re-experience any kind of memory is good, as we mentioned in the beginning. Okay. If she's re-experiencing this memory and she's re-experiencing these emotions of that memory, and she's talking to you about it, she's going to start associating those emotions with you. Okay. That's where you want to be. That's called building rapport. All right, guys, join the beer club, beer.comeonmanpod.com. We have a meetup tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Brother Omega Hashira is going to be hosting it. We typically have at least one meeting a month, and the last 2 months we've had two because Omega's offered to host a second one. But the guys get together and we don't talk about anything heavy if you don't want to. We just get together and have some drinks and talk about guy shit, right? If you don't drink beer, it's just called beer club, okay? Some people guys are like, what if I don't like to drink beer, bro? It's like, you don't have to drink beer, man, okay? Just drink water if you want, or come and drink a soda or whatever. It doesn't matter. No one's asking what you're drinking. The point is, it's an outlet for men to get together and talk about guy stuff, and most guys don't have an outlet like that. Most guys get into a long-term relationship or they get married and then they stop hanging out with dudes, and now all of their problems they dump on their girl, and then that slowly erodes attraction over time because women don't give a shit about your problems. Okay, women think they care, and this isn't a bad thing, right? It's just that's how they're wired, right? Women think they care, and they may even want to care, but just their biology won't let them. So if you're constantly doing it, constantly bringing them your problems without any solutions, they're like, man, what's up with this guy? Like I just don't feel the same way about him anymore. I just don't know what it is, right? He just can't seem to handle his shit. Right? So, but guys do need an outlet for that. You can't be bottling that shit up, okay? So either get a good group of dudes, join the beer club, it's only $10 a month, or get a therapist or something, okay? Those are some options for you. And then, guys, coaching's available if you want to work with me directly. I do have a couple of seats still open. If you go to coaching.comeonmanpod.com, you can book a free call with me and see if working with me is right for you. All right. That is all of the housekeeping. We're done with all those now. So another lesson from How to Win Friends and Influence People by Carnegie was to remember and use people's names. This is one of my biggest challenges. I suck with people's names. I'm fucking terrible at it, right? But you should try to remember a girl's name. If you're dating multiple girls, sometimes it's a little bit challenging, and it's almost better to give them nicknames, right? But if you're good at remembering names, use her name, okay? Periodically through your interactions with women, you want to try and sprinkle in her name every once in a while. There's some guys that I'm working with directly with my one-on-one coaching. Sometimes they'll get stuck in these text conversations with girls, and the examples I give them sometimes, I will make sure to use that girl's name in the text conversation, right? We don't use it in every text conversation or every response to her, but occasionally you want to throw in her name. Right? Carnegie says someone's name is the sweetest sound in any language to them, right? Hearing your own name is the sweetest sound in any language. So if you occasionally use her name, it helps build rapport. All right. It's one of the reasons I used to work at a Safeway when I was in high school. I used to work at a supermarket, and Safeway was really big on customer service. And they were like, when they were teaching us customer service, like, look, our prices and our products aren't any different than Albertsons or King Supers. They're like, the difference here is that we're going to provide them with the best customer service experience that they can have. It's really hard to find that these days, even at Safeways, even though that's what they train people. Just people suck at customer service now. But one of the things that they would teach us to do is when let's say someone pays with a credit card, you look at the receipt, it's got their name on it. You thank them by name, right? And when I was a courtesy clerk, they wanted us to thank people by name too. So it was like, well, how do we know what their name is? I don't know what their name is, right? So sometimes the cashiers would like sort of slip the receipt to you so that you could hand it to them so that you could thank them by name. Another way we would do it is like if they're writing checks, because back in my day, Sunny Jim, people used to pay for their groceries with checks. You would sort of lean over and look at their checkbook and try to get their name and shit, right? That's like, we would do that to try to build rapport with the customers, and we would actively try to thank them by name, and it was kind of a fun game, right? So you want to do this on dates too, and interactions with women. You want to sprinkle in her name occasionally in the conversation, okay, when you're talking to her. The next question is, if you could have dinner with anyone, past or present, who would it be and what would you ask them? This is a pretty common question. You guys have probably heard this one. This question taps into her interests and influences, allowing her to share insights into her role models or people she admires. If she names anyone like Hillary Clinton, Gloria Steinem, or any other prominent feminist, you may want to pay the check and bounce. I've always wanted to have dinner with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. All right, we're done here. We're done here. All right. I'm gonna get people in the comments. What's wrong with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, bro? Whatever. She's no longer here. God rest her soul. The next one here is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received, and how has it influenced your life, or how has it influenced your life? Exploring the advice she values can provide deeper insights into her beliefs, principles, and the lessons she's learned along her journey. For some of these, be prepared for her to throw the question back at you, right? Or turn the question back on you. Okay. And a lot of these she's going to ask, she's not going to know what to say. Like, women aren't the best conversationalists, a lot of them. So you're asking her the question, she's not going to have anything original to ask, and she's just going to turn it back on you, right? So be prepared for that. So my go-to for something like this, right, which was, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received? My go-to for something like this was that my dad once told me that anything I ever wanted to know, I could find in a book, right? That was one. Speaking of her throwing questions back on you, remember this. Okay, this is a very important concept I want you to remember when going into dates with women. Whoever is asking the questions is in control of the conversation. Okay? Whoever is asking the questions is in control of the conversation. I don't know who first said that, but it's something I learned from Corey Wayne, okay? When she asks you a question, you have a few options here, okay? You could be short, you could be vague, or you could be playful. Right? You don't want to go overboard with not revealing things about yourself. You just want to slow drip the information. I just recorded an upcoming episode with Brother Taylor. I don't know if you guys tuned into that last episode I did with Brother Taylor Michael, but he and I just recorded another episode. We were talking about this, and he was saying that he just recently watched an episode with Corey where, he does his newsletters where people email in and he answers questions. I don't watch Corey's stuff anymore, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But apparently this guy was messing up his dates because he was going overboard with not giving too much away, right? So like it was almost like a girl would ask him a question. He's like, I'm not answering that. I'm not answering that. It's like, you got to give something away, okay? You are trying to build a connection with these chicks, okay? You can't be 100% mystery, okay? You really just want to, you just want her to have to work for the information. That's all. But you could slow drip it to her, keep answers short and vague, okay? Once you answer, however, you want to flip it back on her immediately by either asking another question or continuing the conversation about the existing topic. Okay. You want to stay in control of being the one that answers or asks the questions. Rather, you want to be the one that stays in control of asking the questions, because who's ever asking the questions is in control of the conversation. You want that to be you. Okay. You don't want her to flip it around on you and start rapid firing a bunch of questions at you. Okay. You got to take the reins back on that one. Okay. We are setting the tone and leading here, which is what women want at the end of the day. Next question is, describe a place that makes you feel completely at peace and rejuvenated. So by discussing her peaceful retreats, she can open up about her need for relaxation and self-care, revealing her preferences for downtime and relaxation. This is kind of a good one, just sort of testing her character in general, because a woman who never relaxes or has downtime will be a neurotic mess, right? If a woman's just always go, 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 she's going to be a neurotic mess. She's probably going to be on SSRIs and stuff like that because she doesn't know how to wind down naturally, right? What's Horatio say? Yeah, these questions are too logical for them. If it's not about them, they don't care to answer. Well, this is about them. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What's something you've always wanted to try but haven't had the chance to yet? That's about her, Horatio. What are you talking about? What's something you've always wanted to try but haven't had a chance to yet? Okay, that's a question. That's the next question here. This question encourages her to share her aspirations and dreams, fostering a sense of excitement and possibility as she discusses her future goals. This also gives you a chance to chunk down and find out why she's never pulled the trigger on something, and to get her to imagine doing it and what it would be like, right? Ask her to do that and imagine doing whatever it is she's doing, and have her describe the sensations of it, right? The sounds, the smells, what it looks like, what things feel like when she touches them, right? This is what we do in NLP. We get people to use all of their submodalities to relive experiences or to imagine the possibility of new experiences, right? You want to get her to, in her imagination, use all 5 of her senses to experience the situation, right? And our minds can't tell the difference between reality and imagination. So having her feel all of that with you will make her associate it with you. All right. This will really help you to build a strong connection. Okay. It'd be like one of those situations where after the date, she's like, I don't know, there's just something about this guy. I feel like I've known him forever. Right. Whamming. A big key with all of this is another lesson from How to Win Friends and Influence People, but you want to take a genuine interest in her. Okay. You want to take a genuine interest in her. Actually give a shit about what she says and who she is as a person. Okay. I'm going to say that again because a lot of guys have a hard time with this. They just want to get laid. Actually give a shit about what she says and who she is as a person. Okay. If you actually give a shit, you're going to listen better. All right. And you're going to have a easier time having a conversation with her. Okay. People could sense when you actually give a shit and when you're just paying them lip service. They could tell, especially women. Women are very intuitive that way. Next question here is, what's one small act of kindness someone has done for you that made a big impact in your life? What's one small act of kindness someone has done for you that made a big impact in your life? So encouraging her to share stories of kindness highlights her values and the importance of meaningful connections, fostering empathy and understanding in the conversation. Have you ever thought about that? What's one small act of kindness someone has done for you that made a big impact in your life? I'm trying to think about that. I'll have to give that one some thought. The last one here, this is going to be a real short episode, guys. Real short episode. The last one is, can you share a moment from your past that completely changed your perspective on life? Can you share a moment from your past that completely changed your perspective on life? I can. It was getting divorced. That's not something you want to tell someone on a date. That you want to keep things upbeat. But this question invites your date to delve into a significant experience that shaped their outlook, fostering deeper understanding and emotional connections between both of you. All right. So that's all 10 questions, guys. I hope you grabbed a couple that would be good go-tos for you. You don't have to use all of them. In fact, if you guys are following what I talked about with the being an active listener and paying attention to what she says and actually giving a shit to what she says and keeping the conversation on her, you're probably only going to need one or two of these. You're probably only going to need one or two of these to get the ball rolling. And then after that, it's just paying attention, being an active listener, listening for little things to grab onto in the conversation that you can either comment on, make assumptions about, or ask more clarifying questions, right? The clarifying questions things is what I mean when I say chunking down. Okay. You want to ask clarifying questions. Understand? Hopefully that helps you out. But a lot of guys, man, they're like, I don't know what to say on a date. What do I say? Well, less is more, honestly. Less is more. The less you say, the better your outcome. Okay. You want to keep her talking, and you want to say, you only want to be doing about 20% of the talking, man. You know, let her do all the heavy lifting there. Don't talk yourself out of contention. All right. Horatio, he thought these questions were too logical. What's a question that you would recommend, Horatio? Do you have a better question? I would love to hear it while we're here. And not just Horatio, guys, but if any of you guys have a good go-to first date type question, drop it in the comments. We do have some time here. Otherwise, we'll have to wrap this up here. But if you guys have any good ones, what's a favorite go-to that you like to ask women? Drop it in the comments, and we'll bring it up on the screen here. In the meantime, I hope that these gave you guys some good ideas for your next date. Be sure to tune in Friday. My man Paul Benjamin from Apex Mindset is supposed to join me. We're going to be talking about how communication is not the key in a healthy relationship, but it does have its place. Okay. We're going to be going over his LUCA model that he came up with. LUCA stands for listen, understand, communicate, action. Which should help you guys who are married or in LTRs better resolve conflicts that come up. Okay. Because a lot of guys, man, we end up reacting to what our girl says, and we end up deering, and we're trying to defend our position and excuse or rationalize and explain what's going on. And that's not a good way of handling conflicts in a relationship. It actually puts you at a one down position from her, which again, we're trying to use hypergamy to our advantage. We don't want to be in a one down position. Okay. But if you use the LUCA model, you're actually setting the tone and leading that communication in a healthy way. All right. So we're going to be talking about that on Friday. It doesn't look like anybody has any examples. Horatio comes in and complains about the questions that I'm giving, but doesn't have any examples himself. Well, that's just unfortunate, man. Don't bring me more problems. Bring me solutions, my friend. All right, guys, that's all I have for this episode. We're going to go ahead and end it here. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications. Please, when you guys ever join these, sound off in the live. Okay, that helps these go by much smoother. If you guys are watching on the replay, drop a comment below. Any comment will do. Your favorite emoji. That'll help boost us in the algorithm. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have a better question that you like to ask on a first date, you can also drop that below after the replay. Thanks to Brother Nathan for the super chat. If you guys got value out of it, we still have a few minutes here. You can send super chats to help support the show. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. Get on the email list, guys. List.comeonmanpod.com. I'll send you a bunch of cool free stuff, including 20 dating app openers that are guaranteed to capture a woman's attention in the first 7 words. Get my book. Guys, what are you even doing with your lives? Get the book. I go through a lot of this kind of stuff in the book, right? The longest chapter in the book is my dating and spinning plates chapter, which I break down soup to nuts, how it begins and how it ends in a relationship, right? If that's your goal. And then guys, do check out my dating course, dates.comeonmanpod.com. It's sort of marketed towards country boys, but it works for everybody. Okay. And then finally, not finally, let's see here. Join Beer Club. We do have our meetup tonight. You could join with a free trial. Show up for the meetup tonight. If you like it, stay in the club. It's only $10 a month. If you don't like it, cancel before the trial's over, and no harm, no foul. Okay. And then if you guys want to work with me directly, coaching's available at coaching.comeonmanpod.com. Oh, Surfbug has a question example here. He says, if you had a choice of a superpower, what would you choose? Oh, that's a fun one. That's a fun one. My go-to is always, I would choose flying, right? Flying or invisibility would be kind of a fun one, but I think flying would just be fun, being able to fly on your own. I don't know. All right, guys, that's all I got. We'll go ahead and wrap up here. We will see you guys Friday for my conversation with Paul Benjamin.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.